mande meye hedonge koinjo atoya labuni.
My beautiful and amazing royals of Africa. Mbolwani, my dear people, this is your queen, Queen Ngningone, second of the name, 17th generation crown queen of the Fangs and of the Diasporan Africans, also known as the Immortals. Welcome, welcome back to Nubia, the Path to Return, the home of the African royals. Now, if you like my vibe, stick around. I promise you, you will learn something. Now, if you're watching me for the first time, hello, my name is Queen Ngningone. I'm the host at Nubia, the Path to Return, the home of the African royals. All right, so welcome back to all my beautiful and amazing royals of Africa. Thank you for watching the videos, coming back and watch them over and over again. I see your activities online sometimes. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for all your kind messages and even your donations. Thank you. May you never lack, my beautiful children. Now, today, what are we talking about? One of the things I would like to talk about today is ending the victimhood mentality. People who has gone through war, followed by slavery and colonization, all right, we have a lot on our plate. Yes, we survived the most atrocious history, you know, in the existence of mankind. Yes, we have been able to survive, but we're in deplorable shape, and we must do everything in our power to remedy it if we even want to stand a chance to make it in this world as Africans, because there could be millions of Black people around. There could be anything but African. Remember, the war was against Africa and the Africans and everything African, okay? So, somebody is almost literally harassing me, sending emails, telling me that the African kings and stuff, they should apologize to the diaspora and all these things. You know, it's sad to see that our demographic in America, because they're the ones who got that programming, as I said in a previous video, our other children are not affected by that narrative. So that brainwash caused some irreversible damages in some of our children, and we are very aware of that. Now, the remnants, the thin minority who I could say wasn't really affected by it, could help heal the other ones, okay? So number one, it has to start with the story we tell to ourselves and the story we tell to our children and children and so on. So this guy, he sent a video talking about the Ugandan president apologizing for slavery. Now, I think I've been a royal activist. It's going on the second year. I told everybody who I was and where I was from, okay? The Fang people are in Gabon, all right? So the area alone I come from, it's a whole different side of the continent. No matter how much you explain to our children that war happened to us, they're never satisfied with that, because many of them are eaten up by the desire of vengeance, you know, the hatred they have toward African is so deep rooted. Themselves, they cannot even help. That has been my observation. It's something which is deep rooted at the soul level for many. When it comes to the history of our people, our children in America are intentionally ignorant. When it comes to the true history of our people, our children in America no longer want to read. Even when they go home, many don't bother to go and sit down with the elders. Because you know why? It's comfortable to cry victim. Me, poor me. It's comfortable because as long as you're victim, you can be dysfunctional. You can be a complete savage, the kind that just go after people for no reason, suspect the worst of people for no reason, just go around just being reckless. That's why they hold on to whatever they're talking about, our people sold them. You know, it's a comfort zone. I was so weak that the enemy made a monster out of me and I don't want to heal. But it's comfortable to say, I'm like that because my people sold me. But what our children don't realize is the danger, the damages that narrative does to them. Because contrary to what they think, our former masters don't owe us anything. War happened to us. We got invaded, conquered, and then enslaved. Simple as that. In criminal justice, they say if you want to know what happened to a dead person or something, a murder victim, look at the crime scene. When you study the crime scene will tell you the story behind that death or that passing. And again, when it comes to Africa, the archaeology of the land speaks of war. The presence of dungeons, you know, why build dungeons? Human dungeons to detain people if it was supposed to be a free trade. The presence of European weapons on our coasts, throughout our coast. Let's not even mention the destruction of our civilization, because I doubt that people who freely traded with the European, these kings ended up dead, their kingdoms dissolved, their people taken into captivity, their landmass rearranged, their lands renamed, their languages taken away. Other languages are still being forced upon us. Our way of life taken away. We are under foreign political system, educational system, even our way of life, everything has changed. But to our children, it was a trade. You see, when it comes to the matter of Africa, we become so dense, we become slow. You know, so we go around, you know, repeating what the master told us, you know. Basically, we lost everything. The only thing the Africans on the continent didn't lose was their lives. And that's what bothers many in the diaspora, especially the hateful ones in America. They truly would have wished that no African made it because of what they suffered. They're like, nobody should have made it. If war happened to us, none of them should be alive. No, we don't believe war happened to us because they're still alive. Someone like me, you know, a survivor of this kingdom they destroyed, they wish I was gone. I irritate the demon out of many of them just sitting there looking at me. This is the state of the souls of many of our children. They just wish us dead. They're like, that's why when we come around, we're not welcome. They're like, what do you come do here? You're the last people we want to see. So see, you have to understand that at some point, I understand that our ancestors were brought here as kids, but it doesn't mean that because our ancestors were brought into the Americas as kids that the collective consciousness should be the consciousness of children. When it comes to matter of liberation and stuff, critical thinking is required. Because as you could see, we were a victim of war. I mean, we lost the war. And all these things I have mentioned, are acts of war. True and pure facts, act of war. Now, the enemy has beaten us so badly, so much so that we are now the ones broadcasting his lies. Now you wonder why people do not respect us. Because when the enemy has beaten us to the point where they change the spirit in us, because even when our mind is confused, our spirit should speak to us. Our guardian angels, our spirit guides, our ancestors should speak to us. But when we get to the point where we lost complete connection with anything or anyone who can illuminate us, and we become just that, it's pitiful. Let me just tell you how it affects us, not just you. The mental and psychological damages, going around, spreading the narrative from the former master, what it does to you, it afflicts you with a very low self-esteem. Now, my dear children, let me tell you what it does when you go out there and repeat that which the enemy has taught you. Number one, you confirm that you conquered, all right? When you go out there, you say, our people sold us, our kings sold us. It means that, number one, you have no root. You're a person who has been outcasted and rejected by his own for reason that, most people, before we started having all these countries, we had kingdoms. Most people come from a kingdom and they know the, certain law. Who are outcasted and banished are criminals, people who do something which is not acceptable to that community. So they cast them away. As Tata Nzambe told us we should do, Tata Nzambe told us that we should remove the evil from among us. So when you tell people that, number one, I'm a criminal, don't trust me, because my own people banish me. So what does it do? You are inviting unnecessary violence over yourself, because you know why? Because you're sending the message to the next bully around the corner that I'm an easy prey. In fact, messing with me will have no consequences at all. I'm as naked as a worm. I have no father, I have no mother, I have no land, I have no culture, I have no nothing. I'm just a pound of flesh waiting to be shaped and molded by any hole. You wonder why people disrespect us, especially the ones over here in America, because us African, we show up with our pride, okay? I never believed in such thing even before I became queen. I mean, it didn't make sense. Unless you don't know the African fathers, you would suspect them of that. The fathers we have are the best fathers around. And I'm well-traveled. I've been around other people, other culture. Our fathers are the best. Our fathers love us in a way you have no idea. I never experienced hatred until I came to America. As a matter of fact, I never knew what hatred, being hated, feels like. I never felt what just, being hunted down, being tracked down, stuff like that felt like until I came to America. Number two, our children are stricken by, man, they love to compete. The ones in America is ridiculous. They love to compete. It's like competition. I mean, they live to compete. These are the things that cripple us. Instead of working together, we compete. That's what we rather do all day. Compete. Compete. You can call them, come on, let's merge, let's merge, let's merge. No. They're looking at their own little thing because, yeah, they want to compete, but we go around people this, people that. We are demanding from people that which we're not even ready to give to ourselves. How fair is that? Even those who come, right? Because I said it time and times again that the African kings, any real king crowned by Tatan Zambe and his priesthood cannot do that because of the kind of oath they have a swear. Your people represent your crown. If you sell them, these are the very same ones that make you king. Now, they were fake kings, they were puppet kings, they were even impersonators kings, white men answering, African names, calling themselves king, acting kings after they murdered the original kings. And of course, they were the traitors among the royal family members who were contemplating the thrones. As you know, if you've been watching my videos, I went to the genesis of the whole thing, how we, the African women, due to our jealousy and hatred, we spoiled the show for everybody by not behaving in a honorable fashion, especially as one of the wives of the kings, by raising future leaders of that kingdom in complete rivalry, because we went in there and waged war against each other. If you watch my video, I touched on that topic before. So yes, in some royal families, the half brothers of the kings were contemplating the throne and even went to the extent of, partnering up with the enemies, thinking the enemies will help them get rid of their brother and just let them be. The best example of that is the series Shaka Zulu. You will see that in Shaka Zulu how when the British came, that was the first time the Zulu attempted against their king. The half-brothers of King Shaka found allies in these white people. The white people knew that they were talking to King Shaka's enemy behind their backs. So, and of course, when they tried to kill their king saw that he couldn't trust them, and the same people who probably brought the idea became the king's best friend. And what did the king do? The king helped, use their help, to kill all the tribes over there. That's what happened. When we can stick to the rules, we always want that which was not meant for us. We want to shine, but at our brother's expense. I can't just shine with my confidence. I feel that I have to tear down my brother in order for me to. We are sick. We are a whole lot of mess. So when you send all these mixed signals to people, I'm that dumb that I believe what the enemy tells me over what my people tell me. We're calling disrespect on ourselves. We basically bastardizing ourselves. We basically telling the world we don't belong to anybody. And our children, especially them in America, are very vocal about insulting Africans. Now, my question to you is, do you think that our fathers go to war for children who insult them all the time or insult them at all? No, they're not animals. Our fathers, even back in the day of the kings, they went to war with almost their bare hands. They didn't have firearms because of their duty. And who gave them the force, the courage, the everything, their people, the love and respect they had for them. Now that the enemy has made us savages, we go out there publicly, so-called elders who are supposed to be, respected in the community. They're supposed to be big Pan-Africanists. You catch them insulting Africans, stripping African naked of their achievement. I heard they claim that even our fabrics that we wear, the white people gave it to us. How can they give to us something they don't even have for themselves? But when you see a group of people who's like that, always going around with their lousy mouth, poor us, poor us, poor us, we, victim, victim, victim. It's annoying, all right? Get up from that rut, think for yourself and take action, seek to heal. Instead of sending me email, trying to force an apology from me. Apology for what? You are the folks who owe us. Our ancestors fought because they thought you were worth dying for. They didn't know you were going to turn out and become this big sellout who hates his own land and his own people. If they knew that, maybe they would have traded with these European. You're the one who owes us. Because you know, in femme, there's something we call un zouk. Yes, when a parent takes care of you, you have a spiritual debt toward them. Yes, it's our culture. So when someone dies for you, you ought to respect them. Because the blood they shed for your sake will curse you and all your lineages. You understand? So stop being reckless out there, claiming that, oh. That's why they're treating us the way they're treating us in America. Because they're sitting and like they are yet to figure out, you know? I mean, and what it does to the people who say such thing. Number one thing I observe is an extremely low self-esteem. A self-esteem that is so low and that constant search for validation. There's nothing wrong with seeking validation, but not at people's expenses. It becomes annoying. Each time I allow one of you too close to me, the disrespect soon gonna follow. And before you know it, they want to bring me down to elevate themselves. It gets comical. Some go around by mouthing, oh, this queen does this, oh, she speaks like this, oh, she used profanity. It's not my language. They were not successful in making me a good slave. I don't have to master their language. I have my own. If they have profanity in their vocabulary, in their language, is because they're very profane people. That's why they have words of profanity. The language of a group of people reflect their behavior. Like, for example, in my language, femme, there's no word I can use for the F-U-C-K word, fuck. Because we don't fuck, we make love. We have so many ways we can say it in my language. We would say, I want to get to know you is a way of making love. I want to lay down with you. I want to share intimacy with you. We don't use the F-U-C-K because we don't do that. We don't lay with people with the intention of destroying them. So if they have words in their vocabulary and me as a linguist, it is important that I express myself in a way where I use the words which will, translate what I truly mean. Not the à peu près, like, no, what I truly mean. Besides, my ancestors paid the ultimate price for me to have that license to speak up against injustices, even when it comes to our own people. So yes, I touch on topics many don't want to touch, because that's what the Creator, the God of my ancestors, the one my ancestors went into covenant with, expect of me. And now you don't have to like me, but what I am not going to tolerate is your disrespect. It won't work. So stop barging into my inbox, sending me ridiculous email. I don't owe you any apology. My fathers fought because they thought people like you were worth it. All right? So even the traitors who betrayed their brothers and became puppet kings, even them at the end of the day, many of them turned against their so-called friends and fought them, and of course lost. And of course, those who thought they were so goody with them ended up losing everything too, because they turned on them just like they always do. Okay? So instead of being there, running loose, talking rubbish, as a true son of your fathers, you need to demand reparation for what they done to you, what they done to your fathers, what they done to your mothers, what they done to everybody you came from. Even the sons of the traitors, like I called them from a previous video. Because my dear people, you know what? We are our ancestors. We feel their pain, we feel their trauma because we went through it. We feel pain in our body because our body was once broken, beaten, torn. So as we are immortal, we come back and carry, memory in our DNA from previous lives. So yeah, if you feel the way you feel, maybe you're a descendant of this sellout who the master never honored the promise and who's still bitter, who still have a vendetta against somebody. Because if you are a descendant of a true king, of a true priest, your blood right now, your DNA should be upgrading to a newer version. You should be seeing vision. You should be giving powers in dreams and stuff like that. You should. I think I made my point. Another thing he does is, like, to anyone with common sense, you cannot be trusted. Because if under pressure, you can crack to the point where you denounce and reject everything attached to you, you know, to claim anything else assigned to you. I mean, you hold no value in the eyes of society. When you go around saying, oh, our people sold us, another message you're sending to people is that you can be trusted because you have no loyalty to nothing. You're not attached to an identity, a land, a culture, or anything. You like a mercenary, a legionary, pounds of flesh waiting to be hired or to be molded and shaped. You're a mercenary, a legionary. These are usually the people who would, you know, join foreign legion, army, or to become a mercenary. They have no family, they have no attachment to no land, to no human being on earth, or nothing. All they do is fight other people's war for a check. That's what they do. People want to know that there's something about you that you hold dear. Even in any business trade, what do you have to lose? When you're no landman, no nothing, you have nothing to lose. You're high risk. When people are discussing serious matter, nobody can ever call you in their midst. That's the truth. Another thing, when you go around like that, you let them know that you're basically a bastard, what we call a stray dog. Our people say people without roots are like stray dogs. They belong to whomever promises to feed them. It means like you're a high-risk person. Anybody who promises you anything can earn your loyalty. And people really don't want to associate themselves with people like that. So stop going around spreading things. It's no flattery. It's calling more violence on us. Stop it. Another mental and psychological effect of that is that, you know, when you believe that narrative that you yourself, your own parents sold you, first of all, it let the world know that you're a loveless individual. Because if you come from people who sold you, it lets me know that you yourself, you're loveless. Why would I want to mess with someone who's loveless? You can only give that which you have received. If your own parents didn't give you love and sold you, why should anybody touch you? You see? Stop that victimhood. Another dangerous effect it does is it conditions us to believe, to perceive, to see the former masters as a savior, as someone who came and rescued us. Do you know how dangerous that is for your psyche? To believe that your kidnapper, murderer of your father, rapist of your mother, you know, is your savior. That's why many of our children sit in the diaspora expecting everything from the former masters. No matter how badly they're treated, they don't dare adventure themselves, you know, to go to Africa. They don't. They rather stay wherever they are, take abuse, you know, have that talk with their children, how to dodge bullet, how to be so obedient and all these things. Parents who force their children to such things are disgraceful. Our parents, our elders teach us that when things are not good where you are, move. It's out of dignity. Look at the European, they were starving. They went and waged war to the Africans, dragged them out of their land, brought them to a stolen land. and you know, had them build wealth and sat on top of them and the natives of everywhere and still sitting on top of them. I don't care how much you hate them, you got to give them this. They know how to wage war. While we're dragging our feet, we are yet to find out, we are yet to even want to find out the truth. We are licking our wounds. We are nurturing our dysfunction. We are defending our worst behavior every day. We are breaking each other. We are going after the strong ones of us and try to bring them down. And we hope the world gonna, you know, lay the red carpets to us. My people, it's time we wake up. Do you understand? The former masters, they don't owe us nothing, not even the truth. We have to pick ourselves up. We have to heal ourselves so we can rise from the condition we are in. If we don't want to heal, we don't want to unite, we need to shut up. We need to be quiet and take it with dignity. Anybody inflicting anything, any pain, any disrespect, any discomfort, quietly, since we have chosen not to do anything. So I really urge the strong ones of you out there to speak sense into the critically ill ones. Stop repeating lies, okay? We go around, yeah, we are gods, we are this, we very powerful. Now let's make use of that power. Zambe allowed us to go through what we went through because we are the only group of people who could have gone through it and survive and heal and rise again. So the ball is in our camp. So stop the yiri ya, the nonsense talking, and let's get to work. Number one, we have to unite. Those who don't want to unite are the enemies, okay? Number two, we have to heal. Our children in America, guess what? We stand as one with our people in Africa. The disrespectful one of you gonna be left behind because Africa won't cease to exist. Nor will our culture go anywhere, or our languages, or our spirituality. We're gonna be there. In the contrary, it's our own turn to colonize the world. But it's going to be a different type of colonization. It's not going to be the type of colonization which is carried out by the gun. It's going to be the kind of colonization that people freely will come to us because we are the truth. Okay? So disrespect Africans and get dealt with. That's the new law. That's the new decree. You don't like us, be quiet about it. Keep it in your room. Those of you who go out there disrespecting us on videos, guess what? Many of you are going to start having casualties because a lot of our children in the diaspora, even the francophone ones, they speak English. They hear you insulting us. Do you know what they do? Your videos are being translated and being sent to priests at home to deal with the disrespectful mouth. Yes, if we're going to wage war to any enemy outside, we got to clean house with the enemy inside. No more rats. You haters, stay away from us. We are the children of Africa. We are the sons and daughters of Yakuba, and we stand like this, one. Anybody bringing disrespect to us is going to be dealt with. This is a new era. Give us space to heal. We have to allow ourselves to heal. Nobody going to give us room to heal. So the damaged one, you can't heal because you were damaged from the continent. Right now, everybody is healing. Everybody is awakening. Those of you don't even bother to want to know where your DNA comes from. You are conquered. A stray dog. Yes, that's how people call them. And don't go around bullying those of our children who still have a sense of pride to be African. All right, my children. So that was it. So stop sending your stupid messages. I don't owe you an apology, but the contrary of it is true. My forefathers died because of you. Because of you, I became orphan. And that debt gonna be over your head until you acknowledge them, until you respect them. Nothing gonna happen good for us. We're gonna be crushed, trampled on. Yes, our collective consciousness should be the consciousness of our ancestors, not that of our enslavers. Okay, my dear children, so stay at peace.
Encore et toujours, il s'appelle Espédas, Rokobina, na décembre album en saoudien. Nyata, Toma, Kanga, Toma Kuna, Nyata, Swakuna, Iya. Premier ministre Jessie Mokuyu, Wabinono Badiamant, Sergio Nicolas, Jules Thierry Mokoko, Julien Gatier Le Bembe.